Yo, what's up, y'all? Today I'm gonna be going over this tornado lightning storm shaman build that I've been working on for a little bit here. I'm just gonna show y'all guys some gameplay, how this build looks in action, show you all the passive skills, and just kind of go over some of these the skills that you're gonna use and what passive to pick for those skills specifically. So yeah, let's just get into it real quick. So obviously you have to play on primalist here. The first thing you're gonna want to go with is natural attunement. This is gonna help you with give you extra attunement, some lightning and cold res. If you don't know, attunement helps you with spell damage, so that's important to pick up off the rip. You're also, to get onto the next part, you're going to want to put 2 out of 5 into Hunter's Restoration, just for a little bit increased health and health restored. That's not that important for this build, but it is to move on. Put 6 out of 6 into Wisdom of the Wild. That'll give you some increased spell damage, as well as your minions, which you're going to be using a Totem on this build, which I'm pretty sure is considered a minion, so yeah, you're going to take that. And then the last thing you're going to take at the beginning is this Tempest Bond, which gives you physical and lightning damage. You do want to also put 5 out of 5 into Elder's Branch to give you extra spell damage and totem spell damage, but you don't have to get this off rip. I would just put these points in till you have 20 and then move straight to your Shaman tree. But these are all the things you want to have on this tree once it's all said and done. Moving on to the Shaman tree, you're going to want to put 8 out of 8 into Shamanic Infusion. This gives you attunement and what do you call it? Elemental penetration. So that'll help you with the lightning damage and physical with the tornadoes and lightning. Put 8 out of 8 into Sky Warrior. This is just an increased 40% damage for you and your minions. That'll help out a good bit with your damage. Um, just put 1 into Silent Protector. You're only doing this to get to the next thing, which is Totem Fury, but basically it's going to give you increased attack speed and cast speed while you have your totem up, so that'll be really nice. So you always want to make sure you have your totem up so that you have that bonus attack speed and cast speed. Put 8 out of 8 in the Tempest form. Is going to give you more health, and you're going to have more chance to shock on hit, as well as chill, but the chill part's really not that important. We're mostly here for the health and the shock. Put 10 out of 10 in the Stormbringer. This is going to give you 50% increased lightning damage as well as 50% lightning resistance, which is really nice. So you don't have to worry about putting that on your gear. Then you're going to move over here to 5 out of 5 onto Avatar of Thunder. This is going to give you, additional lightning spell damage. That'll just only buff the lightning that you're getting from your tornadoes. You're going to put 8 out of 8 into Rune of Awe. This is going to give you plus 16% shared spell damage for you and your minions. Once again, just buffing everything in general. You're going to want to put 5 out of 5 into like Lagan's Answer, I think that is. Basically, this only matters for the top part, which is chance to cast Stormbolt on spellcast. We're not using a channeling skill, so that part does not matter, but we have a 40% chance to cast a Stormbolt, which is, we can't even see it. Why is it on the right? It doesn't even matter. It's just basically an extra lightning bolt that comes down and does extra damage. You're going to put 8 out of 8 into Gift of the Skies. This is going to give you more increased attack speed and cast speed, as well as a little bit of dodge rating, which, isn't very important, but it is nice to have. You're going to put 3 out of 8 into Conflux. This is going to give you increased area for your skills, and you'll take a little bit less damage from shocked enemies. And then the final thing on this tree is 8 out of 8 into Ascendant Circle. Basically, while you have an active totem, you'll do 8% more spell damage. So that's it for the Shaman tree. If you come over to the Druid tree, you're just going to put 7 out of 7 on Spirit Warden. This is just going to help us have a little bit extra health and mana for our build, which is nice to have because this is a pretty mana intensive build once you get into it. But yeah, that's pretty much the passive tree right there. Let's get into the skill tree real quick. Basically, the whole main part of this build. So obviously, the whole main part of this build is tornado. It's basically you're gonna be casting. It's gonna proc lightning storms that happen when you cast tornado. So you want to make sure we're getting as many tornadoes as possible. So as you see, we're going to put 3 out of 4 into Lasting Storm. And basically we're doing that to get to this, which is 4 out of 4 into Hurricane, which is going to give us 100% chance to create additional tornado, but tornadoes have reduced pull strength. The pull strength does not matter, trust me. But you will always be putting down 2 tornadoes down when you cast tornado, which is what we want. You're going to put 1 into Charge Storm, which is Tornado cast Stormbolt at a nearby enemy every 2 seconds. Like I said, this is what we want. But then you're going to put 4 out of 4 into this, which is going to cast Stormbolt more frequently, which you see 140%, which is really good. So you're going to be doing a lot of lightning damage. That's why this build is heavy around lightning damage. Put 1 into Aspect of the Storm. This is going to grant you 10% increased movement speed. when you cast Tornado. And then on top of that, you put 4 to 4 into this, which is going to now make Tornado cost less mana. And now, because we always cast Aspect of the Storm, it's going to actually give us a 12% mana regen, which is good. Like I said, this is a very mana intensive build, so that's nice to have. And then finish it off by putting 3 out of 3 into Storm Dervish, which is now going to grant us attack and cast speed while using Tornado. So yeah, basically this is what you want to do. Make sure you try to get like gear that can probably give you extra points into Tornado. If you do get gear like that, I'd say max this out to 60% and then maybe go into Debris to give you a little bit extra damage. But this is what you want to have off rip if you don't have any gear that gives you extra points in Tornado. Moving on to the next thing, you want to have this summon Storm Totem. We're going to be still continuing on this shock thing. Put 3 out of 3 in the static field. It gives your attacks a chance to shock enemies. Then put 2 out of 2 into Fulgurate Core, giving you additional spell damage based on your shock chance and chance to shock attackers. Put this on overstimulation. It's going to make sure your totem is slowing enemies. Put 4 out of 4 into limited resistance. It's going to make your storm totem cost 140% less mana, which is good. Like I said, it's a lot doing with mana on this build, so you want to make sure you're spending as less as possible. Then put 4 out of 4 into lightning raider. This is going to make sure you have your totem has 60% cast speed, which is good for this part up here. Put 3 out of 4 into Storm Rider, which gives you 30% increased movement speed. A Storm Totem has shocked enemy recently. And then the most important one is a Ground and Conduit, which is you deal increased lightning damage if a Storm Totem has shocked an enemy recently. That's why it's important to have this increased cast speed so that happens quicker and you do 45% increased lightning damage. Like I said, all this works together. Then you're going to want summon Storm Crows. You're going to want to make sure, you're just going to want to do all this down here pretty much. We're still moving onto the shock. 5 out of 5 in the shock and display gives you shock chance and lightning res. 3 out of 3 in the Storm Breath is going to give you damage per shock stack and maximum damage. 5 out of 5 in the fulminating caw. Your increases the lightning damage also apply to your Storm Crows, but reduce effectiveness, which is, whatever. But like once you max that out, you have 150% damage effectiveness, so it's whatever. 5 out of 5 in the Thunderstruck, which is Stormcrow's basic lightning spell, has a chance to chain up to 2 additional targets. And then max it or finish out over here with 2 out of 3 on Thundering Strike, which just makes Crowstorm deal more damage and has increased chance to stun enemies. If you don't know, basically you spawn in your crows and then your crows have an ability you can activate every I don't know what the cooldown is, 4 seconds I guess, which does a good number of damage. Next, you're going to have War Cry. This is going to be good for healing yourself and also debuffing enemies around you. First, you're going to put 1 on Juggernaut, which makes you invulnerable after War Cry for 1 second. That's cool, right? 3 out of 3 on the Breath of Etera, whatever it is. You now heal for 300 health, which is nice. And then 1 onto Purging Shout, which now cleanses all negative ailments on you. On top of that, you're going to want to put 5 out of 5 on the Debilitating Shout? I can't speak apparently. Basically, Warcry will now apply 1 stack of Frailty to affected enemies for a short duration, which you want to max it out, which means they will do less damage to you for 10 seconds, which is really good. You're going to do 2 out of 5 on a Deep Roar, which will give Warcry 40% increased area to, hit enemies. And then moving over here, you do 1 on this Kinetic Scream. Really, this is not that important, but it is to get down here. This is just going to do a spell and physical damage when it hits enemies. But you do Hastily Advance, which is going to, if you hit somebody, you gain haste for 1 second, which is nice for movement speed. But then you want to put 5 out of 5 onto Warcry, Energized Charge, which is going to make this ability cost 150% less mana. But you get 150% haste duration, which would be 1.5 seconds in this chance. So haste now has 2.5 seconds. And then put 1 out of 1 in the Raging Frenzy, which now you gain Frenzy for the same duration as you have Hastily Advance, which Frenzy just increases attack speed from what I know. But yeah, that's it for Warcry. And then moving on to our last skill, which is going to be our movement skill, is Fury Leap. This is also very important for our lightning damage. Basically, put 4 out of 4 in a Crater. It's going to deal damage in a larger area and cost less mana. Put 1 into Lagan's Wrath, which is now when you leap, you create storm bolts while you were leaping. 5 out of 5 in the Stormbringer, which storm bolts occur with increased frequency, which is good, and then you want to put in this rejuvenating storms, which now you have additional spell damage per 2 attunement while leaping, and kills with storm bolt have a chance to reset Fury's Leap. So you have a good chance of getting Fury's Leap back to back if you kill people midair. Then moving down here, you want to get Herod's Protection, which now you're immune while leaping, which is good if you're low. 4/4 in the Panther Strike, which gives a plus 24% damage buff and the cooldown recovery speed by 24%. Put 3 out of 5 in the Ambush Predator, which this is just to help get to the next part, but it does help with damage. And then you want to put 1 in the Gravity, which now when you leave it pulls enemies when you land. You don't have to have this if you don't want, but it's kind of nice just so that everybody's in a big pack and you can just spam tornadoes as you get on the ground if that's what you want to do. I would leap, hit Warcry, put my totem down, spam this, and if I need to, use Summon Stormcrow's ability to do extra lightning damage. There are some uniques that do help. It is nice if you get legendary versions of these because Prism Wraps increase elemental damage, and you take elemental damage leech on health on crit, and you take less elemental damage. This is a nice one you could have. Also, if you have a strong mind, this gives you extra mana. And it also casts a small lightning explosion when you are stunned. So these are some nice uniques to have. You want to make sure on your staff that you have stuff like, spell damage, lightning damage. Those two are going to be really important for doing as much damage as possible. But yeah, overall this build's really fun. Throughout this video, I'm going to show you all some clips. Just to kind of show you what the build can do. But yeah, that's it for this build. I appreciate everybody that stopped by. Make sure you leave a like and a sub. And I'm going to keep pumping these bad boys out. I've been having a blast playing the game. And thank you, everybody. Peace.